Hello everyone, welcome back to Xamarin Forms tutorial videos. So what are we talking today? We'll do a quick recap of Xamarin Forms about the previous video about the resource dictionary, because this video is very much focused on the control template for which you have to know about the resource dictionary. If you don't know about the resource dictionary yet, please refer back to the previous video and then come back to this video, and then we'll talk everything related to the control templates today. So various kind of forms pages, we already spoke about them. So a page is the visual element on the page on the phone app, in which you can display your content. So you have a content page, master detail page, navigation page, and tabbed and carousel page. So today's stuff is more about the content page. How can we templatize the content page so that you don't have to rewrite the same stuff again and again. A quick recap of resource. I will definitely recommend you to watch my previous video about the resource dictionary, but here is a quick recap. We define a resource so that you can reuse the same thing again and again in your app. It could be any color. For example, you want to give a text a color, so you can define the name of that color as a resource, and then you can use it in your entire app, just like a CSS class, so that you don't have to, if you want to change the color in your entire app, you don't have to go to every page and change that. You can do it only at one place. Same thing is applicable to style. And third thing is the control template. So first two things we spoke in the previous video, and the control templates that we'll talk today. A resource dictionary is a collection of resources. So just like you define a resource for a background color or a font or for a label or for anything else, and then a resource dictionary contains the collection of all of those resources, and throughout your application you can pick any resource and you can plug it in anywhere. So what is a control template and why we are using them? So a control template is used to define the common properties to be used by the various pages. Basically, this is more concerned about the layout. If you have a web background, you might have done the master pages, so where you can define the header and footer at one place for all of the pages, and then throughout the rest of the pages you just inherit from that master page. I think that is the simplest way to explain that. Let's go a little visual as we always go. So for example, this is your page template. Template means you want to define a header for the page, you want to define some background color for the page, and then you want to define some footer for the page, and then every page can have its own content. So we can say that this is our template, content presenter, that will be given to the page where they can inject their own code. So let's take rather deep dive into that. For example, we have defined this page template with some header, with some background color, and then we kept some area into that so that any page who's driving from this template can plug in their own content. So for example, if I drive page 1 from this template, I will have the similar template, but I can inject my own content into the content presenter. Now I bring another page, page 2, drive from the same template. I can use the same header, footer and background color, but I can inject my own content specific to page 2. So same thing, I can make any number of pages and I can keep inheriting the same properties for so that all of the pages will look like. This is how we define them. I think once we go into the code, then we can see more into the detail. It goes into the resource dictionary. Yep, so the demo time. So I'm opening the Visual Studio for Mac. A few things have changed since we made our last video. So previously we used to have the Xamarin Studio, but now Xamarin Studio is combined with the Visual Studio. So now you will have Visual Studio for the Mac. I have installed Visual Studio Community, but you can have any version of Visual Studio. If you are working on Windows, you will have Visual Studio for Windows. If you are working on Mac, you will have Visual Studio for Mac. So let's start a new solution. This is pretty standard as we do in the other practices, but I'm just starting from scratch. because we are dealing with the Windows Forms application, so you go into the multi-platform and you click on the app, and what we need a blank Forms app. If you go with the Forms app, it will bring some existing code, but we just want blank form app. Go next. App name. I will keep this app name as control templates learning, right? And then you see that it is designing everything for Android also, and it is designing everything for iOS also. Target platforms, I have chosen both. Shared code, we have spoken about this previously also. I will prefer the PCL library, PCL. Yes, and always use XAML for defining the interface files. Okay, this is your another detail for the project. And I will use the Git for the version control, because after the video I'm going to upload all of the code to the GitHub, my GitHub account, so that we can use that as a reference. Okay, now I'm going to create the project. So this is a similar experience which you had when you were creating the project in Xamarin Studio, and now Visual Studio, because now it's the same product, you have the similar experience. Few other things have come into the picture since then. So now you have a form preview also. Anytime you're creating a new project, you can, as you are writing in the XAML file, you can see the project, you can see the page output right away. You don't have to run the simulator every time to see how your form looks like. But sometime when we are using the control templates, it doesn't give you the exact behavior you want, but still it is a lot of help actually. So now our project is ready. We can see that we have 3 projects. This is the common code, this is the code for Android, and this is the code for iOS. So we will start in the common code, because we are writing the common code, we don't want to code twice. So first let's start with this very simple page. I'm going to add a new page, new file, and I'm going to go to the forms and click on form content page. You should notice that there are 2 different things: form content page and form content page XAML. It means that it will give us the XAML designer preview also along with this stuff. I'm going to write page 1. Page 1 is fine. Let's give it a page 1. I just want to keep the demo as simple as possible to explain you the crux of the concept. So you see that on the right hand side now we have the preview also. This is the XAML page. Now as we will be writing into the XAML, on the right hand side we can see the preview also. It takes a while sometime to build everything, so don't get panic. As soon as you have this arrow here, it means your code is fine. So let me start writing something simple here and say that your registration page. So we are defining a registration page, and then I can keep some entry here, text, name. This is just a dummy page. Don't take it seriously that why these things are concerned. So I will say name, age, address, and country, and then we'll add a button here and say that text, submit, and let's give it some background color off. Okay, black is fine, no worries. So one of our page is ready. To run this page, we have to go to the XAML page, app.xml, and that's where we need to mention that our starting page is, instead of this, we'll say that my starting page is page 1. You hit Control I to ident your stuff, and you run it. So far what we have done, we have simply created just one page which has some of its own properties, and we didn't make any other page yet, right? So now let's make one more page similar like this. I will call it a page 2. Add new file, this one, and I will call it a page 2. So let's say that this page is looking like exactly same like this one. So let me copy most of this code, come to page 2, put it here, and say that instead of a registration page, I will say admission page. Some changes here, I don't need all this stuff, right? So now I have two pages. uh, now in now I have two pages, right? To make this page as a starting point, I can make this thing as page 2. We can make something to navigate between these two pages also, but now I'm just focusing on explaining the content control template. So now this is our second page. So you might have noticed one thing. The only difference in these two pages is only the middle section is different. It has the bottom section is same, the upper section is same, and that's what we are trying to bring to the templatized version, so that we don't have to write that code again and again. So now let's come to the resource dictionary. How do we define that? So if you go to app.xaml and we want to define the common layout which is going to be used in all of those pages. So let's understand the structure here a little bit. You have application, and then inside the application you have a property called the resources. And now we are going to start making a resource dictionary. Inside the dictionary you can have different kind of resources, but now we are concerned about the control template. We have done the previous resources in the previous video. I'm gonna give it a name, theme master, because anything related to that theme will be called theme master. What we want to write here is we want to write the header, the footer, and the content of the page. Let's go back to one of the page. I'm gonna grab all of the code, put it here. I'll explain you the reason for that. Why did I copy? So accept this page, accept this code. We want every page to have this, we want every page to have this, right? So whatever is different in every page, we are gonna write content presenter here, control I, and you can reformat all of your code. Circle expand, let me make it, that's fine. Okay, so now any new page should be able to use this template instead of writing all of the code again. And how can we do that? Our existing starting page is page 2. Let me go to page 2 and remove this stuff from here. Let me remove this stuff from here. So in fact, this should be coming from the template. And how do we do that? Simply we need to write just one line here. We'll say that control template is equal to the way we define the resources. We will say static resource, and what is our theme name? If you remember, that theme name is theme master. So we can do theme master here. So now, yeah, this preview will be a little tricky for you to see that, so you actually have to run that. So let's run this app and see what do we get. So we'll get similar experience which we had before. Just like, see, in the page we didn't define the app name and the term and conditions here in this page, but we still see that because they are coming from the theme master. Let's assign the template to a brand new page. Let me make another page called page number 3. This one, and I will save it a page 33. And here I say that I want to drive this page again from the same template. So I will say that, okay, control template brackets static resource is equal to theme master. So I come here and I can say that theme master. So now anything I write in this one, and it could be anything. I'm in page 3. I can do some fine. So now if we make this thing as a starting page, page 3. So this will show not only that I'm in page 3, it will also show page 33, sorry. So now when we run this page, we see that it just not only say that I'm in page 3, it also shows the app name and the header and footer which is coming from the different page. So this way, just by defining the layout of the page at one place, we don't need to define it every time. And now it comes with more perks also. For example, now you want to change the background of all of those pages, so you only have to change that at one place, where in the theme master. So here I can say that you know background color, for example, is equal to yellow, right? And if I run that, so now it will show the background color of yellow on this page. Not only on this page, it will show it on every page. It will show that thing on every page. So now let's dig a little bit deep into that. How can we define more than one templates and we can change those templates on the runtime? For example, you want to give your customer a feeling of different themes, different background colors in his preferences so that he can control all of those preferences from one spot, right? So we are in app.xaml. Here we have one theme, theme master. Let me copy this entire theme and make another theme here. I will say that this was the theme master and this is a theme sub, or let me say it a name, theme blue, and make some changes into that. Okay, vertical options, so this will be start and expand, because in this one we are going to change his layout completely without actually touching any of the page. Label, app name. Now beside this, you can change all of this stuff. If you want this thing to say something else instead of something else, I can say that we are in theme blue, right? Add some more. Let me add some box view also, just for the sake of differentiating that we are not changing any content. Term and conditions for theme 2, maybe you don't want to show that, but just for the sake of simplicity. So now we have two different themes, theme master and theme blue. And let's apply that theme blue to our existing page. Previously we were working with page number 2. Now let's come back to page 1. We haven't applied any theme to this page, but now we can do that. And how do we do that? Let's revise that also. Here we say that control template is equal to static resources. What is our theme name? Theme blue and theme master. Remember that, because I forget it very quickly. Static resources equal to this one, and we don't need to, we can take out this because this is already coming in the part of theme and this thing. Okie dokie. So page 1 is ready. Let's go to the app.xaml and change our starting page to page 1. We are shifting between the pages. We can build some navigation page or tabbed also, because to easily shuffle between the pages. But I'm just keeping things simple to focus on the actual stuff. Okay, so now we see that our page 1, which looks like this, and now it actually looks like this. It has some background color and has term and condition for theme 2 and all that. Let's make it a little bit beautiful. So from here I can add another box here to bring everything down, start and explain theme background blue. So now how do we switch? And if we change its theme from page 1, instead of saying, we need a word wrapping actually in Microsoft Visual Studio. For Mac there is no word wrapping. So if I say theme main here, just to make sure that our name was theme master, sorry, theme master here, you see that as we are changing the theme name here, it will change its look and feel. when we'll run that. We actually haven't made any changes to the page content, we just changed the theme name. And soon will you see that now the background is changed also, because this is the part of the theme. So now let's try to programmatically change this theme on the fly. I'm just trying to explain the concepts here. So we go to page 1, and maybe in the bottom I can say that, you know, text theme master, right? This is my theme 1 button, and I will add another button which can help me to change to theme blue, right? So now both will have some on click actions, so you can do it by here clicked. So it actually helps you to write some code here in this one, and let's write some more code here. Yeah, this is not smart enough to change the function names. Blue clicked, right? So I need to copy this, come back here and change it here. I need to come here, select this and change it here. So what they are actually doing, they are actually going to, we are going to make them to switch the theme based on whatever button is clicked. For example, if somebody click on the theme master, right? Somebody click on the theme master, what should happen? What should happen is we are going to change our control template to the theme master. Now theme master itself is a template, we have to find it from the properties. So where those themes are defined, you see that those themes are defined in application, which is our app class, inside the resources dictionary, and then this is our theme name. The way to grab that dot current, because we are always referring to the current project's resource dictionary, app dot current dot resources, and then we pick the name of our theme, and it is a theme master. Now we also have to cast it to the control template. That's it. And we'll copy the same code here, and instead of theme master, now our theme is blue. Let's see if you remember that. And now let's run that. So when we'll click this button, if everything works perfectly, it will change the theme of current one. So currently by default our template was master, which was this, and if we click on theme master, it will stay as it is because it has still changed it. If we click on theme blue, it has changed the theme. See, it changed the background color and all that kind of stuff. If I click on theme master, it will switch it back. So you can keep these thing in some common variables and play around with all of that, that play around with all of that stuff. So let's do a quick recap of what did we speak in this one. So why do we need templates? So that you can customize the background color, header or footer or other stuff of your entire app. You don't need to do it for every page. And the way you do that, you go to the app.xaml, and that's where you define your resources. So first you define the resource dictionary, and then you define your control template. Every template has its name, and then you can define the content of that stuff inside that. Very important, you have to define the content presenter. That's where it injects its code. You can define multiple templates, no problem, as many templates as you want. Use your creative skills to define the look and feel of that app, and then you can define a separate page. Before that, inside the page you need to define this property control template, and you have to set this. Now we are setting it via XAML, but you can also set it via your code like this, so that you can change it to the different page. With that, I will close this video. Any questions, please send me in the comment box. Any suggestion you have for improving the video quality, please let me know. With this, I think we have covered all of the page styles for the Xamarin. In the upcoming videos, we'll try different kind of layouts. We have the grid layout, So far we were using the stack layout, and then we'll talk about the absolute layout and other kind of component. Thank you so much. Enjoy the coding.